I guess we don't have sound. Well, we're live streaming. I'm Rob Commander Taco Malda. That was Geeks in Space without the theme song introduction, which is a little bit weird. I know, right? And I am here today, of course, with Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
Good morning.
Gentlemen, how was your weekend?
YouTube channel to see if it's actually working. How was your weekend, Rob?
My weekend was awesome.
Nothing is
taught
broken.
me a lot about like living in the desert, and yeah, it's a good time.
Excellent.
Good
I mean,
Good
water is
time.
one of those modern conveniences. You know, it's you don't need it,
It's one of those things you sure do miss it when it's gone, though.
right?
Yeah,
You
makes me wish I still set up my rain barrels.
Ooh. Well, I had suggested you put
I've been
out the
thinking about
tarp
that,
and capture morning dew.
Yeah, that would work too.
You could do the whole Arab desert thing.
Yeah, I go out there every morning and suck all the dew off the clover.
Sweet.
And
Clover dew.
mhm.
We're saying dew a lot.
That's delicious. Well, let's see. The oldest story that I see on my zone is the Jon Snow sequel.
Yeah, this came out. Do we care? Does anyone care?
You know what? Here's what I'm interested in. I have a number of thoughts on HBO or on the Game of Thrones. I think that it is the single best example in modern media history of, like, you know, whatever the opposite of sticking the landing is, like face planting the landing.
Yeah.
Because that show went from like everybody wanted to talk about it. Like, did you see what happened last night? Like it was like later on today, we'll talk about The Boys. It was The Boys for like 4 years. That was the show we wanted.
It was so much more than
they
The Boys,
failed
though. I mean,
so badly.
Yeah.
So badly that we now we just don't even think about this. Like now we're like, whatever.
And it's the end of the series is such just like a scattered money grab cluster because how many sequels, prequels, spin-offs
we've got the
have been in
Doctor Who
development
prequel
and shut down. I mean, it's just
I mean, they really crapped the bed, you know, and they took all those sequels and prequels with them. And now they're saying, well, maybe you would want something about Jon. You know, he's just stabbed, what's her name? Daenerys. And so he's fine now, right? Y'all want to see what he does now, right? You know, the White Walkers, they're all gone. So it's just going to be, you know what it is? It's going to be like one of those parlor, you know, comedies where it's just him on the wall talking with you know, his fellow, I don't know, castratas or whatever they have on the wall now.
The weird faces.
And they're like, our job is to stand here for 10,000 years.
Yeah, but I don't know. In these more woke times, I think the more likely storyline is he pretends to be a new recruit, goes in undercover and learns what abuses the crows are committing upon, you know, the people who just get sent there and try to rebuild the system because it's a whole new age.
Well, you know, if you think about it, most people don't know what he looks like, right? Because it's not a world with like video conferencing and stuff. You know, when you send a Raven, it doesn't have a picture, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe it's going to be a whole undercover boss, you know?
You know, as long as he doesn't take off his shirt so you can see the 36 stab wounds in his body, you wouldn't know who he was, maybe.
Exactly.
I've read various articles over the years about how, like, normally when a show ends, like, it maintains a certain, what is it, the Q score or whatever, the recognizability, and like those sorts of things. And apparently Game of Thrones like just dropped like a rock. And like it's interesting. I mean, it like, besides the last Star Wars movie, I can't think of any other thing that shit the bed so hard in its last moment.
The second Star Wars movie was the real
Empire Strikes Back. I like that one.
No, not that one. I mean, all right.
I like Rise of Skywalker. But I'm sorry. Yeah, I like the Last Jedi. I liked the Last Jedi. Rise of Skywalker was the hot mess.
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah, but the thing that saved.
Wait, was Jon Snow? That'd be
Yeah, you
if they
didn't
had
see Jon Snow wielding the lightsaber.
Turns out it's the same universe.
Yeah.
Along with work on Moon Knight or whatever the
hell. And then E.T. takes over the North with all of his people.
Well, E.T. is canonically in Star Wars, so
I know that's why he's in there now.
So he can definitely be in Game of Thrones.
No, Spielberg could give it a little cash infusion,
right?
Because things are sputtering.
Yeah,
the
ambling up the whole universe, and that's what it is. It's actually like the wall, the people on the wall that Jon Snow is now in charge of. He turns it into like a dragon racing thing,
and most importantly, when they re-release all of these, they replace all the swords and axes with loaves of bread. So people are actually feeding other people instead of killing them.
Yeah,
walkie-talkies instead of swords. Yeah. Or since they don't have walkie-talkies in Game of Thrones, they just carry around ravens.
We had to CGI in the ravens because we didn't want the kids to see that they had axes in the original.
Or just like letters all in scroll tubes and stuff. And you'd be like, there's a lot of notes in this movie.
I guess.
Yeah, and they go back and they remake it the way that Lucas put stuff in Star Wars. And they take, when Ned has his head lopped off, they're actually like giving him a massage.
Ooh. That works.
Oh, I was thinking maybe Ned's head lands on a little dog and the dog runs around with Ned's head on it. Kind of like the scene in Mars Attacks for a while.
Oh, sure.
Slapstick comedy.
Yeah, that was I actually really liked that movie.
We rewatched Mars Attacks here just a few months ago, and it for what it is, it holds up really well.
I bet.
Yep.
All
right. Well, the one thing I just wanted to say is that the only thing that saved Star Wars from being knocked so down so many pegs was the fact that they had Mandalorian coming out like simultaneously. So like you had this bitter taste in the movie theater, but at least you had Mando and Baby Yoda at home. So like they put a little bit of sweet in their sour, a little sugar in their coffee. Let's see. We got 2 SpaceX related stories. One good. Let's do the good one first.
Wait, which one's the good one?
Just looking at these headlines, though, it makes me wonder: does anyone know where those employees are who were fired?
Oh, yeah, because they were saying that one of the Falcons had 4 mystery payloads.
Right.
I'm certainly not trying to
how many
spread
people
rumors
wrote
on
that
the
document?
internet.
Yeah.
But strange that all those people disappeared and all those rockets went up at the same time.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Well, the story is that SpaceX launched 3 Falcons in 36 hours, which, I mean, is actually really cool. I agree. We talk about like getting space stations to rival the ones that we orbit the Earth in. And in order to achieve that, they need to be able to launch rockets like every day. And this is cool. We've never been at that point that we can launch rockets so quickly, just as a species, as humanity. I watch every Scott Manley tidbit about Starship and whatever, and I mean, if that actually happens, if we actually achieve that, that's extraordinary. And this, to me, is like a really exciting step on that path. But, maybe it's just going to end up being used to shuttle billionaires into space. Yay. Anyway, the sad story is that last week there was a bunch of SpaceX employees that signed some sort of open letter. We talked about it on Friday. And they were critical of Elon Musk's Twitter shenanigans.
He threw them into space.
Yeah, and so now 5 of them are, well, this article says fired, but I think it's probably pretty clear that if they weren't in the payload bays of these Falcon launches, they were probably like tied down somewhere under the blast radius.
I assume they put them up in space in their space station, which they're called Disgruntled Island, and having a reality show about.
I have a question for you guys. You know how we're in orbit in theory? That's our central conceit. of our shtick. Rob, if you had a knocking sound, like on hand, that'd be very handy. Because then,
I have
when we joke about, yeah, that's not as funny. When we're joking about them being thrown into space for daring to criticize Lord Elon, we could say, "Oh, who's that?"
I think we need to do a little bit more morning zoo research just to make sure we covered all those eventualities.
Oh, good Lord.
That's good. That's all right. I mean, that's important. We will absolutely need that at some point.
Yeah, like a monkey sound too, or a chimp, or elephant.
Engine revving sounds for when we pretend to go places.
And like wolf whistles when we talk about someone really attractive.
We'll need a little bit of like traffic from a helicopter audio.
Oh, I know what we should get. What's the Star Trek engine noise?
Oh, the like the like that.
How's that? Can you hear that?
No.
I mean, maybe YouTubers can hear.
Yeah.
What's the channel saying? With all of our active listeners.
Yeah. Well, I paused. I just have I had a YouTube of the sound effect of the engine idling. But apparently my audio isn't going to transfer.
Well, you keep remixing.
Oh, you know what? It's going through, but it's probably getting drowned out by the EQ. Okay. Well, I don't know. The other thing that I just thought was really weird about the story is just that Elon is always on Twitter like, we're big on free speech, unless it's critical of me.
Well, on Twitter, not. If they'd posted their open letter on Twitter, maybe that would have been okay.
They shouldn't have used the corporate Discord, or the corporate Slack.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Ambaloo said that they barely heard the warp engine. Magnum could hear it. All right. Magnum has superior ears.
Yeah.
Because he's a private detective.
There you go. Hey, did you know? This is totally irrelevant, but I discovered yesterday that I'm more deaf in my left ear than my right ear. I had a crackling speaker sound coming through my speakers, and I could only hear it out of one ear. It was really high pitched. So I now have like a sense of
self-diagnosis, or did you talk to an audiologist?
No, I just like held my ear in front of a speaker and turned my head back and forth and determined that I'm losing some frequency at the top end.
What's funny about this? Malda? You can't smell.
That's true.
Right? Maybe you can smell. It's just something's clogged up, and the eustachian tube from your ear to your sinuses is so clogged with vitriol from your time at Slashdot. Your humors need to be cleared out. You should have one of those operations
my humors.
Where they drill out your nose tubes.
Hey, if you need something taken out of you, I know a guy.
A guy?
Does he let you keep it afterwards?
You're a plumber.
Well, you could probably keep it if you distracted him sufficiently. like ninja smoke egg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, my question for you guys is, what do you think about this open letter thing? What did it say? Let's see now.
I mean, I think it was all pretty reasonable stuff. Basically, Elon is being a tool on Twitter. He's doing things that are against reasonable corporate policies, reasonable HR policies, and
I guess, but I wonder what they think this accomplishes.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. Their cause may be just, gentlemen, but do they think that he was going to read this and be like, "Oh, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, I'll change. I got to grow.
I got to change because you 8 people said this.
I got to do the work.
Yeah.
Talk to my therapist.
Like, it's just
be better, Elon.
Sorry. They would have if the thing was they just want to get this off their chest. I mean, it would have benefited them probably more if they went outside and just screamed it to the heavens.
It would have been as effective.
Yeah. Well, and it wouldn't have gotten them fired. So
that's true.
SpaceX must swiftly and explicitly separate itself from Elon's personal brand. There's no difference,
I don't know that that's totally true, but you're right. I mean, there's truth in it.
I really admire Gwen Shotwell. I mean, she's a remarkable executive,
I think that what they've achieved as a corporation is extraordinary.
Yeah, it really is.
It's the circus aspect to all of it. That kind of makes me sad. Well, I guess that's oligarchs.
I mean, though, if you put together this letter, though, you're probably not super concerned about losing your job, right? Because you
have to know that's part of it. When you're
right. Yeah. So
it was. I mean, my read of it at least was that it was written in good. It was written in good faith. It was written by an honest actor who really truly wanted.
Who is incredibly, almost cripplingly naive.
Yeah, that's the word.
Well, my question is, is there an aerospace company that will embrace them now?
Right.
I hate to say it that way, but I mean, do they think that Boeing is a kinder, gentler defense contractor?
I mean, if nothing less, they're lazier. Oh, they probably have lower standards.
Well, maybe they want to go to Rocket Lab because everyone in New Zealand's really nice and stuff. I can see that.
I guess if you're working at SpaceX, you want to go to a startup, just because you don't want to go to
there's like 2 other rocket startups, right? There's Rocket Lab and Planet.
There's Bezos's thing, right?
Oh, sure, but that's not
real.
Not real.
I think just because it doesn't go very high.
Listen, I would love for Blue Origin to be successful. I know some people over there; they're really nice, and I would love for them to be a great competitor.
I like every industry that has competitors.
Yeah, I just like that he is basically creating the Amazon's brand version of rockets too. I mean, there's an Amazon brand for everything that they find is successful and they eventually copy. Right. Yeah. So this is just
wait, you're saying that Blue Origin is Amazon Basic SpaceX?
Yeah, it's Amazon's basic rockets. Yeah. It's part of their business model. Makes sense.
That's really good.
You subscribe to Prime, you save up points.
Yeah.
And then you order it up and you get the sponsored link. It's the first one. Sponsored link, $400,000 for a SpaceX ride.
It's functional, though. It may not look great.
Yeah. I mean, sure, it may not last as long, but it's a third the price.
Remember when they lifted Peak Design's design, but it was kind of like crappier workmanship? I'm like, maybe that's the approach,
Blue Origin.
So the seats are too hard, if you're in there as an astronaut. I mean, it's safe. It'll get you there.
I got their slogan.
But it'll take a little longer and it'll be harder on your back.
Blue Origin, we didn't kill Shatner.
That's is that a brag or is it?
That's their slogan.
We didn't kill Shatner. Sorry.
Go both ways.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I suppose. Oh man,
it's like Paramount. We kept Picard going.
Oh,
wow.
There's a third season, boys.
Boy.
Let's see. Well, we got another flying car.
Oh yeah. No, actually, I thought so. As expected, no one is surprised by this. Let me see if I can get the video going here.
It's not road legal. Is that what you're going to tell me?
Well, it doesn't need to be.
No, it's got a range of about 20 minutes. But this guy is commuting from his fabulous estate in California to his fabulous office in California, using his little quadcopter, octocopter.
He is not. How high off the grid does he say?
Well, that's the thing. I was watching this and I'm going, I get wanting to be low enough so if you fall, you're not gonna.
Yeah, but I mean,
dead.
He's not clearing half the trees.
Well, that's the thing. So I know that this can go higher, right? All these octos can go pretty high.
Jetson Arrow.
Yeah, jetsonarrow.com. But I have to be honest with you. I'm a little freaked out at how low and fast this guy is going.
Terrain changes if you're not really paying attention.
Well, there's one scene in this cut where like he's approaching a power line, and I'm like, "Are you gonna go under it, you moron? What are you doing?"
Okay.
I know if you stay under 500 feet, you don't have to have a license or whatever,
right? But you could go up to 100.
This is like 50 feet.
Yeah, I mean, go up to 100, man.
This is like the Top Gun Maverick right here. This is madness. This is he's shooting womp rats over in the forests of
Beggars
California.
Canyon.
in Beggar's Canyon.
This is Ender's.
I mean, look at this. He's level with the trees. I mean, he is not high up.
He's crossing. I think those are honeysuckle bushes. And they only get like 15 feet tall, and he's maybe 10 feet above that.
Yeah, like here's the power line for the property. I'm like, dude. I mean, he's cutting it.
Yeah.
Wait, like here's another power line.
Here it is.
Yeah,
like, dude. And then
they
cut. They cut right before.
He had to go under it.
I mean,
but by looking at it there,
he probably like whoa, and then like pulled up or something. But
I choose to believe that they're that low just because they're trying to create dramatic camera footage.
Well, it's dramatic. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
it's damn dramatic.
The thing that kind of weirds me out about
this guy's like, hey, do you have to fly by my house every time?
That would be hilarious.
They were all standing on the deck going, oh, it's that weird guy. He's gonna die in that thing.
And he just does a strafing run across the pool.
Yeah, like does he always go over the pool in case it falls apart? Yeah, look.
Oh, he does.
Oh, I guess this is
wow. Holy crap! He blew that tree down. He's low.
Here, I'm gonna back up a little.
Yeah, I mean,
here's the approach again. Are you ready? Oh, that's just the landing. Yeah, so here he comes. I don't know if it's actually getting to you guys very quickly.
It's laggy, but
he's coming around the house office for I don't know.
Yeah, I'd never had an office like that. That's a pretty nice office.
Yeah, right.
Of course, he does have a little mini helicopter. So
okay, here we go.
If you can afford a little mini helicopter, you can afford a pretty nice
This is where
office.
he blows the top of this tree. He hits it with the bottom.
That's scary. But I mean, I guess he's landing, so.
Yeah.
Okay, but I have a question about...
Or he's trimming the shrubs.
Ah, it could be.
Mm.
You couldn't fly that over follow a highway, right? Because you'd blow so much wind down that would have to be negative for the people on the road.
People fly over highways all the time in helicopters and airplanes.
But not at 50 feet.
That's too close. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be safe. That's the problem. You'd end up hitting overpasses and crap.
You need to be able to... Well, I had looked forward to the day when that's a choice. It takes me...
because, I mean, even with just regular landscape, having a 50-foot incline someplace, that comes up very, very quick.
Yeah. And here's the thing. And, I'm a bigger person, right? I'm not a skinny person, like you are, Rob Malva. And my question for this is, how much does his balls weigh? Because that thing must be able to lift at least my weight.
50% of this man's body mass is balls.
He's got no brains, but he's got.
Sorry. That's crazy.
I mean, what's the lifting weight of them things? That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Like my little drone, that only lasts 5 or 10 minutes before the battery's out, and it's only carrying itself.
Well, I've got a drone. It lasts a good 30 minutes, and that's great. And actually, if you look at this one, the heavy side. Well, heavy side does a cool thing in that it's got the pivoting, so it lifts VTOLs and the rest, but it can fly with lift from his wing. So,
wow,
I would love to fly in this thing. Sebastian offered me to do that, and I'm like, I don't think I'm within your weight envelope, pal.
Yeah, maybe wait a year or two. Well, I'll go for the 2.0.
I mean, this is a hell of a plane, though. So yeah, so you can see here it's got these guys, and yeah, so it takes off like that.
I have to be honest with you, though. Like,
this thing's sexy as hell.
Instead of filling me with more confidence, the more engines I see on something, the more I'm sure it's going to fail.
Yeah,
that's just my initial thought. Like,
okay,
look at that.
Here's the story that they tell, and I don't know that they're wrong. I don't know the science. I'm not an aeronautics person, but according to plane people, all the lift, all the energy is basically in the last 10% of the propeller. So if you have more propellers, you have more advantage from your, if you have more smaller propellers, you're actually getting more of your energy out of the equation. So.
All that stuff makes sense to me. I just look at something like that and my mind is like, no business puts any extra into anything.
Yeah.
So that must mean they need all of those for that to work. And that's 8 things that can go wrong then instead of just 1 or 2.
Right.
Yeah. No, the what is it with the quads? They can lose an engine. You know, in an octo, you can lose 2 or 3 before you start having problems.
Honestly, I assume that's why he's flying so low, though, because if he's planning on losing one engine and he wants to just be able to touch
he's got
down.
8 on that thing, though.
But I was talking about the previous video.
Yeah. No, the Jetson has 8.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I almost
See, it's got a counter-rotating coaxial motor. So these are individual motors.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry. I didn't show it to you.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, so as you can see here. So you've got
top
and bottom.
Yeah.
Top and bottom, and then you've got 2 others in the front. So yeah, I mean that's actually very common on the heavier lift quads, you know.
Also, if that guy, if like what we are saying, the reason he's flying so low is that, you know, if something goes wrong, he'll be safer that way. I hate to tell you, if you're going 40 miles an hour at 100 feet, you're going to be just as dead from 100 feet as you would be from 1,000.
So the argument for like the heavy side, right, is and with other planes and helicopters, altitude is advantage, right? So the higher you are, you have a greater chance of going into auto gyroing on a helicopter, or you can pick your landing spot on a plane. Now, with that thing, there's no lift. Once those motors are out, you're toast. You're just dropping like a stone, right? So, but still, I mean, 40 feet, 100 feet, 10,000 feet, you're toast. I mean, it's a hard landing.
I guess that's in the channel. Amblu was asking about the collision avoidance. I wonder what what's the system in there that says, okay, we just lost one engine, we've got 10 seconds before we hit the ground, we got 3 engines. Like, is that a human decision? Is there is the software involved? I don't know. I'd be interested in that.
I like to think when that happens, the top pops off and you're suddenly encased in one of those. You ever see those balls you can run across a pool in?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Like that inflates and just bounces you out, and you just bounce across.
Well, I mean,
the terrain.
That is an answer. You know that you can pull the Cirrus parachute cord in the event that you have a real problem with your thing, right? So
they should put a canopy on that.
Those are really neat.
So that he can goose it. Boom. Oh man. Sorry, I got Top Gun.
Is that a verb now, to get goosed?
You get goosed. That's when you eject into the canopy.
I think that's always been a verb, but
different.
You know.
Yeah, but that means
different. Just a different thing.
Someone's great. Yeah. You know what the aircraft should do when an engine fails? It should grab your butt, give you a goose. Right? No? You like a stick shaker? You're more of a stick shaker kind of guy?
And on that, humans apparently have tamed fire a little earlier than we thought. Rob, this one's yours.
So yes and no. They really don't know when we figured out how to make fire. And I think the furthest back estimate was 1.4 or 1.5 million years. But they just did a study on a bunch of flint that they found that was used to work or harden in a fire, and they found it to be 1 million years old. So they're pretty sure that at least 1 million years ago, we figured out how to make stuff burn.
That's weird. It's hard for me to imagine, because I'm trying to think of what the human, because we're not Homo sapiens at that point. We're
I think robustus.
That's pre-Neanderthal?
Homo robustus.
I'm very robust.
So you have to bear with me. It's been many, many years since anthropology class, but I believe he was the last one before Denisovans, Neanderthals, and then there's actually a third one that we haven't named because we only know them by genetic signatures that we find in people yet. We actually haven't found their remains. We just know that they were a different species.
All they say is hominin.
Yeah. So, but like they found a lot of stuff that robustus, they think might have built very primitive sort of boats, sort of like dugouts, and actually ventured out into the sea a little bit. They made a wide variety of tools and stuff. Like people don't think about anything before Neanderthal as actually being, intelligent and doing stuff. But, hominids have been doing those things for a long, long time.
So this was found in the lower Paleolithic, right? So I'm seeing Homo ergaster. I had never heard of ergaster before.
Oh, she was nice.
Sure. As a homo.
Chris, I just put your Nicole Kidman story onto the zone just because that'll be funny for Rob.
So you guys.
Rob, we put this in the channel. That was the terror at Tulip Time. Nicole Kidman is supposedly going to be in a movie, a thriller in our
not just
hometown.
Her. The guy from Breaking Bad, Cranston, Naomi Watts, who's like Nicole Kidman's body double. I don't know.
But I wonder what school she teaches at. And I'd like to see what restaurants they hit.
No, it's definitely going to be Kami because it's right close to downtown. They can just stay in a hotel, walk over to Kami.
They're not going to film this in Holland.
Why not?
Why would you do that?
It's saying that it's unclear whether the filmmakers in 2014. No, they're. I don't know. I mean,
they're not going to film this in Holland. Why would you? There's no reason to do that.
Get some B-roll at least, right?
Sure, you send a crew out, in May and shoot some people doing their wooden shoe clomping dancing.
Well, let's see.
As we all do in May, because anyone who lived in Holland knows.
The traditional Hollander thing.
Once the siren blares at 1:00 in the afternoon, everyone goes and puts on their wooden shoes and fills the streets everywhere with our traditional dance.
Mostly, though, I think of it just as being child labor because all of the elementary school kids are forced to march in parades.
And also don't forget that first parade is the street cleaning parade.
Yeah.
All those kids are out there with push brooms and water, and they literally scrub all the streets of Holland, Michigan.
Chris, are you familiar with the street washing parade?
No.
We are not joking about that. That is literally what happens. Everyone comes out with push brooms and scrub brushes, and they water and soap all the streets, and everyone scrubs them as the parade goes on.
Like, that's the lead group of the parade. Let's clean the parade so that we don't get our wooden shoes dirty.
Yeah. And we'll let children do it. Go, children.
Yeah.
Clean this 5 miles of road.
Yeah, like in my school, the kindergartners and the first graders even did it, the shortest parade.
Yeah, so what I would do if I were you guys is I would reach out to the producers and I would say, listen, we're experts in this frickin' town.
I feel like they can probably do better than Rob and Rob.
I don't think that's true. I think you guys would
too little of us.
You would really put in some great details.
Oh, yeah. But we'd put
like
in the
she's supposed to be a school teacher, so she's the one saying, okay, kids, let's go clean the town up so everyone thinks that it's really pretty,
Like when they have the scene where we sneak into Tunnel Park after hours, I know exactly where to go to do that best.
Yeah.
Right? People would know it was authentic.
We can talk about printing out coupons that allow the bearer to pick one tulip, which is not true.
if no one has a scene set up at OBI, with the perch dinner and all the boats in the fishing fleet that are up on the walls everywhere. I mean,
did you see
that scene has to happen.
We should just email the guy. Let's see.
Rob, did you see the story recently that Dutch Village burned down?
Yes, I posted
really?
it.
Wow.
Well, the barn and a few other buildings. So
we were talking about that place just because that's a weird place because like it was there before that area was built up, and then around it was the best mall, the best movie theater, a bunch of good restaurants. And then 15, 20 years later, all of those things became a garbage movie theater, a garbage mall, and a bunch of garbage big box stores.
And don't forget that they widened the highway right there as well.
Yeah.
And there's all those strip malls up and down. It literally used to be just a place out in a field, kind of.
Yeah, I remember that as being fields.
And now it's in like just encased in concrete for 3 miles around it.
Yeah. It's funny because it went through like this complete transformation, right? It was this little garbage theme park in the middle of a field to being a little garbage theme park within the nicest area in West Michigan to shop to the nicest garbage theme park in a horrible rundown, overdeveloped chunk of land.
And in the retail version of Gary, Indiana, right? Where it's like, look at the collapse of shopping in retail stores. It's almost like a museum.
Yeah,
that you go walking through and see what, back to Mr. Bezos, what Amazon and online purchasing did to these areas.
Well, the last thing that I have on the list is The Boys. It's Chimps Don't Cry. I love The Boys. That show, man, that is hitting on all cylinders.
And it's true. If you're talking about tears along with sobbing, humans are the only apes that do that because we're soft.
Man, that's quite the yell face. The way that was handled in the context of the episode was really great too.
I'm only through episode 3.
Oh, this is you meet. She kind of performs the song in episode 5.
Is it her Timothy?
It's like her garbage song. Like, you know, Save the Whales, but she's like, I don't know. It's really well handled in the context of the episode.
But no great apes are killed in the scene, and she doesn't consume one. So
no. It's entirely about her wanting to save the chimps.
Yes. And I'll point out that someone in that writer's room is my spirit animal, because she talks about capuchin monkeys, and the guy points out that they aren't apes.
Yeah.
She's talking about, we have to save apes. She's talking about capuchin monkeys, and he's like, oh, those aren't apes.
That's right.
I love that.
Next, you're going to tell me that dolphins aren't fish.
That was for me. It was for me.
That's right.
So yeah, as we talked about in the channel, for me, what gives me joy is to know that everyone working on this project, especially in the marketing, absolutely gets what is funny about this show and what its fans would like. I think they freaking nail it out of the park with this Vought TV stuff. It's absolutely amazing. I bet it is a joy to work on some of this stuff.
And it's fully integrated into the show. Like, any one of those things feels like it's a part of the show, but it feels like an ad for the show. It's so meta, it works. This show might be the best thing on TV right now. And I say that looking forward very much to the next Star Trek, because I got to tell you, man, I'm loving Strange New Worlds. I think it's exactly what I want from Star Trek.
Okay.
Do we have anything else on our agenda for the week?
I'm really enjoying it. No, I don't think so.
Are we ready to see if the theme song is going to work? Because I think I might have fixed it while we were chatting.
Yeah.
Well, we might as well give it a shot.
Only one way to know.
All right. Well, goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
See ya.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
Bye.
That was episode 727.
I think,
of Space.
See if we can be heard. Let's.